Ah, yes, finally Friday. And here we are again in another glorious episode of SatireAIzed, where hygiene goes to die. Today's adventure begins with what looks like a cauldron rescued from Mordor, a thick, bubbling potion of mystery, flavor, and possibly tetanus. The chef stirs it lovingly with a tool that has clearly seen more wars than spoons. Every bubble whispers, "This is how new diseases are born." Next, we dive into the sacred art of hand-dipped batter. Because why use utensils when your hand is already marinated in yesterday's sauce? Each swirl of that orange sludge is a fingerprint of authenticity and gastrointestinal danger. Then, behold the banana carrot watermelon symphony, freshly uncovered from beneath a cloth that last served as someone's towel in 1998.
Nose got to feel it, soft now.
बस भाई इतना काफी है.
One more round. Then it's ready.
Today we witness a masterclass in biohazard cuisine. Our chef begins his ritual by plunging his hands straight into a glowing green potion, somewhere between pond water and nuclear waste. He stirs it lovingly, like he's mixing the secret ingredient in a medieval plague. Each scoop of that fluorescent slime goes into tiny plastic bags, and honestly, we're not sure if he's selling snacks or homemade stink bombs for local kids to throw at passing cars. The aroma? Equal parts mint, mystery, and municipal drain. The color? Pure radioactive envy. Bon appetit, or as they say on the streets, brace yourself for the green apocalypse. This right here isn't cooking. It's an ancient ritual of chaos. The man dips into that pot like he's summoning something forbidden from another dimension. What comes out? A molten, glistening creature that looks part intestine, part lava flow, and 100% gastrointestinal betrayal. He stretches it dramatically, like mozzarella from hell, before slapping it onto what can only be described as a medieval scroll made of oil, tears, and broken health codes. Then he cuts it with the same enthusiasm a surgeon would have removing a cursed organ. The sauce? A violent mix of red and regret. The aroma? A combination of spicy despair and diesel fumes. And just when you think it's over, boom. He wraps it in a leaf because biodegradable cholera is the new farm-to-table. This isn't food. This is what you see in your dreams when you fall asleep with the flu. Bon appetit. May your stomach be as strong as his immune system. Ah, yes, the corn of catastrophe, straight from the depths of a metallic cauldron that's seen more seasons than a cast-iron skillet in purgatory. Each cob is pulled out with bare, seasoned hands, marinated in the sweat of generations, and dipped directly into a sauce that looks like tomato met motor oil and decided to stay friends. Next comes the ritual of flavor burial. It's rolled lovingly in a bucket of radioactive orange powder, a mysterious mix of dust, despair, and possibly drywall. Then for the final act, a lemon is squeezed, not for freshness, but for drama, as the cob drips like it just came out of a horror movie's special effects department. And how do we serve this delicacy, you ask? Wrapped in the finest, recycled pharmacy flyer. Because nothing says gourmet like enjoying your street corn while reading about antifungal cream discounts. This isn't just food, it's performance art for bacteria. Bon appetit, the corn edition. Taste the chaos, feel the consequences. Before your appetite collapses in self-defense, subscribe, brave viewer. Not because you should, but because your immune system deserves front row seats to this microbial circus. Join us every week as we journey through the sacred art of culinary chaos, where every bite is a gamble and every sauce comes with moral consequences. Stay tuned, stay brave, and remember, in the streets of flavor, cleanliness is optional, but entertainment is guaranteed. Ah yes, the breakfast of champions and questionable life choices. Here we witness the birth of a dish that defies logic, science, and every dietary law ever written. Scrambled eggs a la Fanta. Because who needs milk when you can pour liquid diabetes straight into a sizzling pan of despair? The chef begins his masterpiece with the grace of a wizard mixing potions. Fanta meets eggs, and together they form a chemical romance that smells like regret and orange soda steam. Then comes the oil, a generous waterfall because subtlety is for amateurs, followed by a blizzard of onions, chilies, and existential confusion. It bubbles, it curdles, it fizzes like it's auditioning for a volcano documentary. And the best part? Served proudly on a leaf, because why use a plate when you can go full eco-apocalypse? One bite and your tongue experiences carbonation, protein, and panic, all at once. Breakfast is served. Bon appetit, or good luck, whichever comes first. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fast Food Fury Road Edition. Here we have the burger of doom, fried not in oil, but in what looks like used engine lubricant straight out of a 1997 Toyota Corolla. The chef doesn't fear heat, hygiene, or God himself. He just plunges his bare hands straight into the bubbling black lagoon like Poseidon deep frying his regrets. Each sizzle sounds like the oil is screaming for retirement. The surface bubbles, spits, and combusts in a way that says, "This pan has seen things no pan should see." He then massages the patty mid-fry, bare-handed, as if tenderizing it with pure audacity. That's not seasoning, that's DNA enhancement. When he's done, he lifts the burger, a crispy meteor of cholesterol, and the crowd goes silent, partly in awe, mostly in fear. The result? A burger so intense it could power a generator or kill a mosquito colony from 50 meters away. One bite and your arteries file for divorce. Welcome to street cuisine on hard mode, where the only rule is don't ask what oil that is. Ladies and gentlemen, today we embark on a journey into the dark underbelly of Indian street food, where hygiene takes a back seat and flavor is, well, enhanced by protein-rich surprises. Our protagonist, a dwarf Indian craftsman, a veritable alchemist of the betel leaf, concocting a batch of pan masala with the precision of a chemist and the hygiene of a medieval barber. With the dexterity of a seasoned magician, he whips out a mystery spray bottle, perhaps an exotic blend of menthol, rose essence, and just a dash of industrial pesticide for that extra kick. In a few elegant spritzes, the betel leaves glisten with a suspiciously industrial sheen, as if preparing for a luxury car ad rather than human consumption. Then a dramatic pause. A fly dares to interrupt the sacred ritual, buzzing insolently above the workstation. Without hesitation, our hero delivers swift justice, a thunderous slap, a moment of silence, and then, like a true zero-waste advocate, he subtly folds the fallen warrior into the pan mixture. Ah yes, the extra crunch nobody asked for. As the spectacle unfolds, one cannot help but admire the commitment. He wraps up the final product with the care of an artisan, sealing in the rich blend of spices, chemicals, and aerial wildlife. This, my friends, is street food at its most authentic, a Russian roulette of flavor and gastrointestinal adventure. For those about to chew, we salute you. But beware, excessive consumption of pan masala may cause spontaneous bodily implosion, much like the esteemed chef in this video. Consume responsibly, unless you fancy turning into a singularity of questionable creature. We have encountered these edible mortar structures far too many times, each one competing for the most grotesque and stomach-churning appearance. But today we have the privilege, no, the misfortune, of witnessing firsthand how one of these architects of street food abominations constructs his latest monument to nausea. With hands that have clearly not been introduced to soap in recent history, our culinary outlaw slaps down a mass of chickpea dough onto a surface that science would advise against touching. He kneads it with the passion of a man who has long abandoned health codes, molding it into an ominous, oversized ring, its structure precarious, its texture deeply unsettling. But he is not done. Oh no. To elevate this gastronomic crime scene, he impales whole cucumbers, peppers, and tomatoes into the trembling, starchy monstrosity, as if adorning a pagan sacrifice to the gods of food poisoning. The ingredients stand upright in tragic defiance, their fates sealed in this culinary mausoleum. Then comes the final affront to decency, a mysterious, viscous orange puree, poured into the center with the same careful precision one might use when disposing of toxic waste. The crater of doom fills up, swirling into a broth that defies both logic and human dignity. The structure quivers, the boundaries between solid and liquid beginning to blur in ways that would make any self-respecting physicist weep. And just when you think it cannot possibly get worse, he decorates it. A handful of onions and other unidentifiable objects are sprinkled over the grotesque display, as if a final attempt to convince us that this is, in fact, food and not some avant-garde social experiment in human suffering. The masterpiece is complete. It stands before us, a towering insult to both nature and common sense. Is it edible? Is it a warning? Is it the result of a bet that went too far? One thing is certain, somewhere in the distance, a health inspector is crying. Step right up, folks, to the greatest culinary circus on earth. Watch crepes get drop-kicked into submission, syrup that's older than your grandma's dentures, and frying oil so seasoned it probably has voting rights. And the grand finale? Desserts so fresh they come with their own air force of bees, ready to defend every bite. This isn't cooking, it's a reality show for your digestive system. Feeling adventurous? Step aside, Gordon Ramsay. Last year's WWE crepe champion is back in action. Watch in awe as he crafts a crepe the size of a championship belt, only to obliterate it with a series of slaps, smacks, and finishing moves straight out of WrestleMania. This isn't cooking, it's Crepe Slam 2025. And the crepe, let's just say it tapped out. Ah, the street vendor of mystery soup, the unsung hero of questionable dining. He scoops up what could be soup or a suspicious liquid that might double as car engine fluid and dumps it onto a dry banana leaf. Then, with the grace of a toddler playing in a sandbox, he shatters dirt cookies over it with his unwashed hands. It's less food and more a science experiment gone rogue. Is it a meal or an archaeological dig? Either way, your stomach will file a formal complaint later. Bon appetit. Step right up and witness the culinary marvel that is mystery bread. These giant suppository-shaped loaves are floating in a syrupy pool that looks like it's been harvested from a candy factory's worst nightmare. You'd think there's some sort of bizarre health remedy until you realize they're actually edible. Or at least that's the theory. As you take a bite, you're left wondering, is this bread, or did I just accidentally enroll in an experimental medicine trial? Either way, it's a sticky, sweet adventure you'll never forget, mainly because your taste buds will still be trying to process it hours later. Enter the visionary chef, frying pancakes in what can only be described as vintage oil. This oil is so ancient, it might just have its own social security number. It's thick, black, and glistening, like it's seen some things. A substance so dark it could be a new form of fuel for the next space mission. As he flips those pancakes, you can almost hear the oil whisper, "You should have retired years ago, but here we are." It's not just frying, it's an epic saga of culinary survival. Step right up and meet the visionary chef, serving up sweet, suspiciously mysterious balls of something that might just be the world's most confusing dessert. These little goodies are swimming in syrup so sticky, you'd swear it's been collected directly from a bee rave. In fact, there are so many bees buzzing around, it looks like they're part of the recipe, as if to say, yeah, we made it sweet. And also, you're going to need a life insurance policy. It's not just dessert, it's a full-on adventure. Now here's the big question. How much would it take for you to down a shot of that syrup? Leave your wildest guesses in the comments. Bon appetit, or good luck with that bee-induced coma. Some street foods are an adventure, a test of courage, and a digestive gamble all in one. But today we will get to know a true legend of chaotic roadside cuisine, the Delhi Belly Burger. This masterpiece starts with a generous pile of onions, tomatoes, and an unholy blend of spices, all doused in a heroic splash of lemon juice for that extra tangy street authenticity. The patty itself is made with the finest mystery meat, processed with tremendous effort, almost as if it were excreted rather than ground. Once shaped into a loose, structurally questionable disc, it is lovingly slapped onto a scorching pan, where it meets its fate in a 20-ounce tsunami of butter. The result? A burger so rich, even your arteries start chanting mantras for mercy. Welcome to the world of authentic street food. The rules are simple. If it doesn't smell like regret and possible food poisoning, it ain't real. Our journey begins with a world-class chef preparing his famous rice rolls. But forget sushi bars and fancy chopsticks. This man is built different. First, he grabs a handful of sticky rice and dunks it straight into a bucket of what might have been water at some point this century. Then, with the precision of a drunk uncle grilling at a NASCAR tailgate, he slaps it onto a pan that looks like your grandma's old chamber pot that's been sitting in the garage since 1987. Michelin stars? Pfft. This man is cooking with straight-up determination. But hold on to your hats, folks, because the next stop is a level of horror that defies all FDA regulations. Meet Chef Bare Hands standing proudly behind his stall of sludgy, unidentifiable broths. There's a spoon in every tray, but he's a man of tradition, which means grabbing a fistful of whatever's closest and lovingly kneading it into a giant tub of rice. At this point, eating here ain't just a meal, it's a test of your immune system's horsepower. And just when you think you've survived, it's time for dessert, a nice, refreshing cup of tea. But what's that floating in the sugar bowl? More protein than a gas station hot dog. Ain't nothing like a little extra crunch in your sweet tea. The chef scoops up a handful and dumps it in like he's seasoning his famous mystery stew. Smooth, sweet, and possibly crawling. Just how Grandpappy used to make it.